So what I'm going to cover today are all the items you see on the right here. I'll show you the different ways you can use offset, the reasons you might want to use them, and all the different things you can come up with. And keep in mind, this is not everything you can do with offset, but it'll give you a good idea and help inspire you for what It'll help inspire you for what you can use the offset for. First of all, I do want to say one thing that's really important I found out about offset, and some people call it shadow, but basically it really makes your design pop. It helps give it dimension, and that's one of the main reasons why I use offset and why I like it. It's very helpful when you use it with, say, patterned vinyl or patterned HTV really comes in handy, or any pattern in general, but also solid plain colors and designs as you'll see going forward. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I got this cute little turtle guy here. And first, let me just show you the offset. Okay, so first let me just show you the offset. The feature is right up here in the upper toolbar, okay? So whenever you have something you want to offset, it's grayed out unless you click on something to add an offset to. So I'm going to go ahead and click that drop down menu. And if you offset to the right, it's going to increase this blue line that is outlining. Okay, so it'll make it bigger all the way up into an inch. That is the biggest offset you can make. And then you can bring it down like this, or if you want to really, it's kind of touchy. So sometimes if you get it down low, you might want it smaller, but it's kind of hard to manipulate. So you can always use your mouse and bring it down and add something more to your liking. So like here's a really tiny one. Okay. So there's that option, or you can bring it right back to where it was. You can also, if you go towards the left, this is going to be your inset. Okay, so to the right is offset, to the left is inset. One of the special ways I like using inset is for things like adding maybe a pen or a foil enhancement. Okay, so you can see you could actually outline this with a pen using the inset, or maybe you wanted a different colored shell to layer on top of this shell. Maybe you wanted all of this to be yellow. So that would be another reason you could use an inset for in this design. The weld keeps everything together. I will be showing you later an idea of when you want to uncheck weld, but it defaults to being weld offsets, which I'm going to say 98% of the time, you're going to want that checked. You have an option to do mitered corner or a rounded corner. Most of the time I do rounded corner. I might do a mitered corner if I have some text that's really has a lot of straight lines in it, like the Times New Roman text, kind of like that. Most of the time mine is on rounded, but you can pick either one and see which one you like better. Okay, so for this one, let's just go ahead and do this turtle guy. So I'm going to go ahead and make his offset about like that. That's fine with me. And when it's on rounded, it's on welded, I'm going to go ahead and click on apply. Now, every time it outlines, it's going to default to the color black. If you want to change the color black, you find where it's highlighted over here on the right. And like this one, I went ahead and I just changed it to an orange color or a gold color. Okay, so there is your turtle offset. Now, if you, this is now two separate layers. Okay, so you can see right here, we've got this layer and we've got these three here together. I can group them and now I can move them around my mat as one item. Okay, so there is this little guy. Okay, so let me show you along the same lines with shapes. Let's say you wanted to make these stickers. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to go ahead and I always bring my images down because as you can see, offset opens up and then you can't see it if it's behind it. So I always bring my images down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do this one here on the left. I'm going to bring it down just a wee bit. I want to show you what happens. This is a good example of if you want it a little bit smaller, but then you get this little line right here. Okay, let me hit the apply so you can see what I'm referring to. So this is a black offset. Let's go ahead and change it to white because we want to make a sticker out of it. But you can't see that line. But what I want to show you, let me bring it back to black so you can see it better. See that little line right there? So I'm going to highlight it over here and I'm going to click on contour. There's that little line that was showing. If I click on that, it makes it one solid background like this. So I can close that. Let me change it back to white. And then, you know what, let me change my canvas color so you can see these better. So I'm just gonna, to change the color of your canvas, you click here, go up to this color button, and let's just choose a light gray. There we go. Now you can see the white better. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. It's the same thing, choose offset. I'm gonna make it just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to change that color to white. And look how pretty that is. Now, whenever you make a sticker, I just want to mention that you want to make sure that you attach the two layers together, and you're going to print it so you don't actually have to attach it, but you do want to use flatten. That changes it to a print and cut file. Okay, so now you can move it all around. Let's do the same to this. Select both items, click flatten, and then now you would be able to send it to you could duplicate or make more stickers. And keep in mind that whenever you do a print and cut, the biggest size limit you have is 6.75 inches for the width and 9.25 inches for the height. So you can fit as many stickers into that dimension and go ahead and send it to your printer and then make stickers. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me just move these up here out of the way. And let's do this one here. Okay, so I'm going to click on my text. I'm going to type in autumn. I'm going to change my text. I'm going to do, actually, no. Okay, so let's do this one here. So let's go ahead and add text. And I'm going to change it to, Okay, so we're going to do this one here. So this is an inset. So we're going to add our text. I'm using DTC Autumn Sunshine, and I'm going to type in autumn. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see it better. And then let's go ahead and change this color to a yellow. And then what I'm going to do is add an inset so you can see. So instead of an offset, we can use an inset, and we're going to go to the left. And then depending on how you do your inset, if you go too far, you won't even be able to see it. And again, it depends on the font that you're using as well. And so you have complete control over how you would like to do your lines. And again, if it's difficult with the slider, you can always do your negative numbers. So as an example, we're at 0.83. If we go 0.90 and hit apply, it looks like that. We can kind of reference from there and decide if we want to go bigger, do 99. Maybe we want to make it smaller. In this case, we can do 80. I want to show you that you can just keep playing with it. Don't be afraid to just keep doing it over and over until you get what you like. It's how you'll learn. And like I say, it's different with each font. So don't be afraid to just kind of play around with it. You can see how it's really changing by each time that I choose a different number. I'm going to go down to 4, 5. Hit enter, and that looks pretty good. I'm missing this line right here, so I might want to see if going a little bit lower helps. There we go. It fills in that line. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And then now your inset always defaults to a cut. So we're going to go up here and we're going to change it from a cut to, you could either do foil and choose medium, and then you'll use your foil. If you have the Cricut Maker or the Joy, you could use the foil attachment. If you'd rather, you could choose a pen instead, and then you could change your pen color to whatever color you like. Okay, so there is that. And then again, since you're going to be attaching either a pen or the foil, you want to make sure that you select both items. And for this one, you want to attach. That way your Cricut will know that you want this writing or foil on this font. Okay, so there's that example. Let's do an offset with a pattern. Okay, so we'll go ahead, we'll go back. We're going to use the same text. Make it a little bit bigger. And then let's go ahead and let's create an offset. Let's go ahead and change this color just so it's easier to see an offset color with it. Okay, so let's just say it's this color here. We're going to add an offset. So we're going to go to the right a little bit. Okay, I like that. Go ahead and hit apply. So now you can see this one has a pattern and this one's plain orange. If we want to change the inside or the outside, you just select which one you want to change to a pattern. So I'm going to select the inside, the orange. So I'm going to highlight the orange. I'm going to go up to where it says cut, and I'm going to change it to print then cut standard. Now I'm going to select the orange square and change this color to a pattern. It's going to bring up all the patterns that you have, whether you've added them or something that was already preloaded by Cricut. I'm going to go ahead and use this filter option because I want one that's going to be in the color family of orange, but you could see how the filter works. So this is going to default to things that kind of have the orange, and this is the one that I want. And as you can see, it applies the pattern beautifully to this. And now I can turn this into a print and cut. And I can show you an example of this, how it looks on a gift bag. And you can see how pretty that would look. So there is the example. Again, if it's a print and cut, you're going to want to select it, and you're going, and what I actually did in the gift bag, I actually turned the pattern part. So I actually turned this part into a sticker. And that was nice because then I could literally cut this out, the black in cardstock, and then I cut this in a print and cut sticker, and I was able to literally stick all these little individual letters right onto here and then glue them very easily onto the gift bag. Okay, so there's some more ideas for you there. Okay, so let me just go ahead and get rid of this one. Let's go down to the next one. So I love the font, the skinny. I use it a lot for different things. Let me go ahead and change it here. Okay, so I like this one here. And let's go ahead and do the same word. We're going to do thankful. Okay, so here is our word. Let me bring it down here and make it bigger. So now sometimes I might want this, like if you use Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape, you're able to add strokes to thicken fonts. So sometimes you want to do that, especially if you're using vinyl. Sometimes you want to add stroke, whether it because to enhance the look of the font or to make it easier to be able to cut with our cutting machines. So sometimes I'll do that depending on what I'm working on. So let me go ahead and just change this to blue, make it more user-friendly to see what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so let's just say I want to add a stroke, but in Cricut, there's no way to add a stroke. But what you can do is add an offset to this word. So go ahead and go up to offset, and you just want to make it barely bigger. So I'm just going to actually, because all we're trying to do is thicken it a little bit, not a lot, just enough to make it slightly bigger than it is. So you can see that. Let me make this bigger. I took away my offset, darn it. Okay, let me see if it will let me do it this way. So I'm going to do 30, which is what I did before, and hit OK, hit apply, and let me go back down to it. Okay, that's actually, oh, because I'm zoomed in. Okay, I want to bring this up further. Okay, so let's take the word thankful and hit offset, and I want to make it really small offset, just enough to thicken those letters just a little bit. Actually, I think I want to go even smaller than that. Okay, so let's take our skinny little font here, hit offset, and try and make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so you can see down that that barely made it any bigger at all, but that's okay. That's what we wanted. We wanted to make it just a little bit bigger than it is. So this is still 2 layers because you've got your text and then you've got your offset. So we've got our word thankful. We're going to add our offset, and I'm going to do 30. Actually, I'm going to do 25 and hit apply. Okay, so as you can see, it made it slightly thicker than what the original font was. So what I can do is I can weld those together and make a thicker font and make it one color. So let me just go ahead and duplicate so I can show you the difference with that. Oops, I want to duplicate the whole thing. Okay, so this here is 2 layers. So you have thankful here, and then you have T right here. So if we highlight both of our layers, and if I duplicate, here's the original one. Now let's take this one, and we're going to weld them together. Now you've got a thicker font. It's just ever so slightly bigger than the blue part of this one here, right? So if I separate these two, you can see that it's slightly bigger. So now you have a bigger font, the thickness, than you started off with. So that is very helpful. And again, it's going to depend on what font you use. You might run into problems when you're doing cursive fonts. So just to give you a heads up there, some work, some not so much. Now, another thing you can do with a font to make it fun is you could bring this second layer and just bring it down and to the left a little bit and see how it gives it a nice 3D effect. And then you can build that out as much as you want. So let's say if I want to bring it in about like that, what I'm going to do is take this black layer again, which is actually this one, and I'm going to offset it again by the same amount, hit apply, and see how it gets even more of a 3D layer. So you can keep building on it as far out as you want for whatever design you're going for. And then you can weld all of the back colors together and keep this one separate. So I would take this one, weld it, and now this is one solid piece. And then this you can layer on top. Let me just bring it back to the front. And then you line it up to where it looks 3D. Okay, so there is this one and this one, these two ideas here. So let me go ahead and close these out. And let's go down to, this is a fun one. Okay, so this is 3 different looks using the same word and style, but you get different fun text effects with it. So I'm going to start off with, this was actually, uh, Oh, I know, this was my Grump font. There we go. This one here, and we'll change it to a fun yellow like I did before. Kind of an orange. Okay, so there we go. We have sunshine. Oh, you know what I didn't do? There we go. I wanted it in uppercase letters. Okay, so we'll change this to a yellow. Okay, so here is our word sunshine. We're going to add one offset to it. This one I want a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so this is the offset that I want for this effect here. So this is just one layer and one offset, right? We can change the color of the background if we want, or change the color of the front. So there's one idea. And then let's take this whole design. I'm going to duplicate it. And this time we're going to just take these two layers and we're going to slice them. And this is going to give us an outline. So we can get rid of this and get rid of this. And then we have this here. Okay, so then now, so this is just a complete outline of the word. Now we can take this again, we can duplicate it, bring this down, and we can highlight just the offset part of it. So just this part here, this is just the background, and we're going to offset it again. I'm going to do the same length, so I'm just going to hit apply, or the same width, and then let's go ahead and change that color to like an orange. So now this is a solid, this orange is a solid layer. And that's fine for, like, say, HTV, or if you're making a card. But let's just say you want all of these to be flat, right? Like maybe if you're using it for vinyl, or you don't want something too thick, so you just want each one a separate layer. So what you'd want to do in that case, let me go ahead and just duplicate this whole thing so you can see each design. So I'm going to bring this down here, and I'm going to select, let me see which one it is. I've got so many things over here. Okay, I'm going to select the orange and the black only. So I'm going to click off. I'm going to select black, hold my shift key, select orange, and I'm going to slice those. So now, and this gets a little bit confusing, but you can just start pulling aside. There's the piece that I wanted. And so now you've got your black layer, or I'm sorry, your orange layer. This you can duplicate and bring down. It's over on the side, but I just find it easier to do it this way if you already have it, like that. And then you've got your yellow layer. So the quickest way to do this is to just outline everything and then go align and center, and it'll put everything together for you. So each one of these are complete separate layers. Nothing goes on top of each other, right? So they don't overlap at all. They just butt up next to each other, which is really a great thing for certain designs. And then this part we can just get rid of. So there are some fun text effects that you can do using the offset. Okay, so let me go ahead and just get rid of all of these. And then if, just so you can see again, that's how we did that. We had an outline, one solid, and another outline. Okay, so let's get rid of all of these and get to our next one. So this is a fun one. Let's go ahead and make a banner just using shapes. This is the example I wanted to show you how we're going to deselect the weld function, and I'll show you how it really helps when you're making a banner, but it helps with other things, but that's just the example that I want to show you. So real quick, this is just a shape that we all have. It's a pentagon. I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it vertically, and I'm going to change the color to a pretty lavender. And I'm going to line this up right about there. That will help me line up my dots. So I'm going to add a circle. I'm going to make it smaller, about like that. I'm going to put it right on that line. Looks good. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to put it right close to that line. Looks good. I'm going to select them both. So select one, hold my shift key, select the other one, and I'm going to align them center horizontally. Oops, wrong one. Okay, select it, hold, select, align, center. Okay, so select it, hold down the shift key, select the other one, and align top. Now that they're lined perfectly, I'm going to go ahead and weld them. That way I can go ahead and slice them together. Since we can only slice 2 layers at a time, I'm going to use my arrow key to drag this straight down. I want it to slice right there and slice. That gives us our 2 holes for our banner. Okay, and then now I want to add this inset. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Offset, and I'm going to go to the left for an inset. I like that. You can make it a little bit skinnier if you like. Hit Apply. And then again, remember, inset always goes to a basic cut. You want to change that to, I'm going to use a pen, and I'm going to choose a raspberry color. There we go. Okay, so here is our banner piece, and you could make, once you're done with this, you would duplicate it however many times to make as many. Oh, I'm sorry. First, we got to attach. Okay, so now the Cricut will know to draw that pen. And you would duplicate this banner as many letters as you want, right? You just do all your words, okay? But for right now, I'm just going to show you how to do one so I don't take up too much of your time. Okay, so let's do this one here. So what I'm going to do is add a letter. And this one works just fine for this. Okay, so I'm going to do, actually, sorry. I'm going to do happy. And this is how I love you deselecting the weld. So you've got your whole word happy, and you could do the whole word happy birthday or whatever you want to do in one line if you wanted to, just to let you know. I'm just going to choose one word to show you for this instance. Okay, so I'm going to go up and choose offset, and I'm going to offset my word how I want it. So basically, we're just picking how much of an offset we want around just each one letter. Even though they look like they're connected here, we're going to deselect our weld. Now you can see they're all actually individual. The offset is. The letters are still together, but the offsets aren't. But I'll show you how to get around that. So go ahead and hit Apply. And then I'm going to make, just so it's easier to see, I'm going to take the letters and I'm going to change them to that pretty purple color. Okay, so now you can see it better. So now if I go like this, these, see, when we deselect the weld, all of our letters are now separate, which is awesome, right? Because we just did all those offsets with one click. So basically, if you want to add these, you go up to advanced, these letters, click on them and click advanced and click ungroup to letters. Now you can quickly put this here and align and center. And there you have it. And then you can group them together however you like. Okay, so you would do that for each individual one. And then you would take your letter and add it. You can size it bigger however you want for your banner. So I just love having that unweld feature for things like this. It really shortens our time for our creation process. Okay, so let me just go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to show you this real quick. These 3 little hearts are so fun and easy to do. So you just grab 3 hearts or 1 heart, and then I'm going to duplicate it 2 times. I'm going to grab them all 3. I'm going to change them to a pretty red. And I'm going to, let's see, about like that. But let's go ahead and we're going to distribute horizontally like that. And then we're going to align top. Okay, so now they're all perfectly lined up. I'm going to go ahead and slice weld. So we've got 3 red hearts. We're going to take those, select them, choose offset, and I'll just keep it at that for simplicity for right now. And I'm going to hit apply and change the black, change the color to a white. And then now I'm going to select just the white and I'm going to offset it again, apply, and there we go. We've got 3 little hearts that you could do whatever you want with. Make them smaller, bigger, paper, vinyl, HTV, whatever you like. These would be cute if you put little holes in them and then string them together for a separate banner for Valentine's Day. Okay, so now let's do, sorry, I've got so much on my canvas. Let's do the knockout. Everybody loves a good knockout. I'm going to first grab my text. I'm going to type joy. And then I'm going to change my text to, I'm going to do times. Okay, so I've got Times New Roman. Make it a little bit bigger here. And I'm going to grab my second text, which is I love glitter. Let me just change it to that because I want you to be able to see the special characters that I use. Okay, let me take it off all caps. Okay, so let me bring my text box up here, or not. Okay, so we're going to type this part right here, merry and bright. In order to get this character, and then again the other character on the other side, this is how you'll do it. You want to click on your left bracket key on your keyboard. That gives us that swish. And then you want to type out merry. And then you want to use your underscore to get the little heart in the squiggly lines. Not the dash, you want to do underscore. There we go. So shift dash makes the underscore. And then you want to type out BRIGHT, and then you want to do the right bracket. And that gives us our merry and bright. Once I have merry and bright, what I like to do is just weld it right off the bat. And that way I can now make it smaller if I want, because I want to fit it how I want it to be pleasing for me, okay? Generally, what I find, especially with a small word like joy, is I'm going to have to select joy, and then this is all based on personal preference, but what I would do would be to space these letters further apart so that maybe you could fit the merry and bright, have it more centered where that heart is. So again, it's a complete personal preference as to how you do this. I don't want to take up again too much of your time, but we can always check it and see how it looks centered to make sure you have it how you want it. You could bring this in, oops, sorry, bring this in a little bit like that. And that actually looks pretty good. Sometimes it helps to go ahead and make one of them a different color so you can just see it better. Okay, so let's say that you're happy with this design. What I'm going to do is just duplicate. I do that just in case I make a mistake, or I'm going to bring it back down. Okay, so go ahead and duplicate this, then take this one, and this bottom one is the one that you're going to offset. And this part is what's going to cut out around the JOY. So you can make it whatever size you want, whatever size works for you on this. I'm going to make it just slightly smaller, maybe slightly bigger. That's too big for me. Okay, so let's just go with that so I can show you. Okay, so now you have your offset. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take these two together and then I'm going to slice. And now you can take your JOY out, take this, we don't need that, bring this up, and then bring this one back down. And you'll be able to line it up how you had it. And there is your knockout. Super easy to do. You can see how center won't work for that. So I wanted to show you that. You literally just have to line it up. All right, and those would cut out in your two different colors and you'd be good to go. I've got only one more left to show you, and it's just a fun one. It's just showing what multiple colors can do. So you can see this one I did in some pretty fun colors and how it looks like that. So let me just go ahead and I'm going to type in, I think this one is the DTC shiplap, I think. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do create. And basically, this is just an offset built upon an offset upon an offset. But I'm just going to choose different colors so you can see how they look with different colors. And it's just kind of fun to see what a difference something can make, even, with the different type colors. So let me bring this down to, say, 0.50. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit apply. And I'm going to take I want to do this again because I want to make sure. Okay, so we take our recreate and we apply our offset. I'm going to do a 0.50. And actually, before I hit apply, I'm going to take these together and I'm going to attach them. Okay, so we've got one thing that we can move around and they'll all be together. Now we're going to create our offset. I like this one here. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to separate them so I can get to this layer here. There. Now we have one item. So now I'm using DTC shiplap and I'm going to type in create. And this one I want to go ahead and weld together so it stays together as one unit. Now I'm going to apply my offset. I like the 0.50. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to select the offset, or actually I'm going to select the letter. Let's make this one red, white, and blue. So we'll do red for that, and we'll do for the layer, let's do white. And then now let's select the white again and just offset just the white layer, same size. And we're going to change this one to a blue letter or a blue color like that. Now, if you wanted to even add more, see how this has even more layers, what you can do is change that red layer to a black layer, change the white layer to the red, change the blue layer to a white, and then now take the white layer, make another offset, and change that back to the black. So now you've got like this here. Let me put them all together. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Now, if you wanted one solid layer like this one, you would take the black layer and you would offset it again. And then that layer, I'm going to bring down so you can see it. I'm going to go ahead and just select it. And then I'm going to select contour and I'm going to take these little pieces out. So I have one solid layer. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Thank goodness we have a back button, right? I think I live by them. So I'm going to hit contour and I want to get rid of, I want to hide all contours and then hit close. So now I have one solid background for this design. So I can take it, highlight them all, and align center. So there you go. Look at all of those colored backgrounds. I could even make this black one, I think. Hopefully I selected the right one. We want to change that to blue. There we go. And then change the gray one to black. So that makes it more uniform. So you can see how these two completely different, oops, same design, but different colors, and how they can look so fun with all those different layers and colors. And then depending on, what size offset, this was a smaller offset, these are bigger. You can combine small ones with big ones. It just depends on the look that you're going for. All right, so I hope all these ideas help inspire you along with the creations that I showed you that I did. And then don't forget to snag those free files and remember to create with love.